Hey everybody, I'm here out in Boston right now with Chris. He's experienced both incarceration and also homelessness in the past. Sorry about the noise, we're out in the street here. So he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences and maybe share some insights into things I could do to help me along my journey while I'm living homeless out here. All right, Chris, I got you.
Right. So what would you like to know?
So I guess my first question is, you said you were incarcerated, and then, you were out here homeless. And what I like about what your story was is you said you were going to school. So I guess maybe give us some backstory about your history. And
all right. So while I was in state prison, I was at Norfolk, MCI Norfolk, which used to have a degree-bearing program at Boston University, but that has now turned into a certificate. They're trying to get rid of it, kind of. The university, not the prison. But while I was at Norfolk. I was in for 9 years, but I was at Norfolk for 7, and it took me a couple of years to get in, so I wasn't able to finish my degree at Norfolk. And the drug laws changed, which kicked me out a year early.
So you were in for drugs?
Yeah, trafficking.
Okay.
And the change kicked me out a year early, so I didn't do the 10 mando I had. I ended up doing 9 years. But I had to take a semester off when I came home, which was good because I had to relearn a whole new system, which was the homeless system. I originally went to Long Island, which was the largest shelter here in Boston. That was set on an island that you had to take a bus to. They used to drop us off right here.
Outside of Quincy, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Now, like that's a big thing because they're getting ready to open that back up, right?
I believe they are, but it's not going to be the same as it was because they made a replacement for it. So.
Okay.
It's called it's the Southampton shelter. On Southampton, so you see about it all the time in the news when they talk about the encampments, the homeless encampments. That's all around the shelter that they built. But they used to actually drop us off right here. It's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just turn it around and show people where we are right now.
Yeah, this is Chinatown. That's Beach Street, and the corner of Beach and Washington. That's where they used to let us off.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
that's my trusty steed right there. Hopefully, get me through the city.
Yeah. They would either let us off there or up the street a little bit. This is where they let us off.
Okay.
So, sometimes it was up the street a little, near the closer to the T-stop. The transition was kind of mind-blowing and eye-opening at the same time, because when I came home, a couple of things really shocked my system. I had magazines and stuff, so I knew what technology was. I was really good with technology. But what I didn't take into account is I apparently wasn't paying attention to pricing.
Okay.
So when I got home and saw a $600 cell phone, and I needed a computer and a cell phone, and I only had $720, I was really flabbergasted. Like, I had no idea what to do. And I had a semester off. So I didn't have school money coming in. I didn't have anything extra that I could count on, because we couldn't. You weren't allowed to transfer classes to the campus because the professors weren't allowed to have the same program on campus and inside at the same time, which is kind of dumb. But
okay.
I think it was to prevent us from transferring if we left in the middle for some reason, like how I had it. So I had to take a semester off, and then I went back to BU because that's the program that I was in, Boston University Prison Education Program. And then on the street, I was just at BU as a regular student. I was a regular student, and so when I got to the homeless shelter, there was a couple of things I noticed that was not gonna work. There was no place to study.
Okay.
It was overcrowded.
Where did you sleep?
You sleep in a cot,
Okay.
but imagine a room with 100 cots.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no place.
Kind of like prison almost.
Yes, it's kind of like a dorm.
Okay.
It was kind of like a dorm on steroids.
All right. What about stuff? Were people taking each other's stuff?
Yes,
or?
because unlike prison, there's no respect born out of fear or anything.
Okay.
You know, they don't care because they're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So they don't care. Like the worst that usually happens is they get kicked out.
Yeah.
So they might get trespassed, but I've seen people get trespassed supposedly permanently and be back in a month. So like I didn't like it. I really didn't like the system. I didn't like having to be on higher alert than I was when I was in prison. Like,
Okay.
I'm out. I'm free.
Were people aggressive? Was there like any aggressiveness in there? Or?
There were fights, but usually because someone would try to steal something and they got caught.
Oh, all right.
Like, there was no shame. These people were stealing stuff, usually to get drugs. A lot of people try to downplay the drug use that's on the streets,
Yeah.
but it's high.
So when you say like how long ago was this that you were in the shelter?
So that was 2014
Okay.
to 2016 on and off. Like
Okay.
17? Yeah, 16. That was about the last time I was there, 2016.
Okay.
Because I preferred to stay on the street.
Oh, so you were staying on this. So how did you survive on the street?
So the street to me was easier because I didn't have like a 1,000 different people's attitudes in my face. Like you picked who you hung out with, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot easier. Also, when you go to the shelters here in Boston, you can't bring anything shop. You can't bring X amount of food. Like there's limited things. They'll make you throw away your food. So like,
they feed you? Do they feed you in there?
They feed you in there, but if you were bringing snacks for later, so you could watch a movie or something on your phone, they allow you to have snacks, but there's certain things they won't allow you to have. Like,
So they search you when you're coming in
yes,
there?
they search you when you're coming in. It's like prison. You walk through a metal detector. You go through a metal detector. You go through if it goes off, they search you. They don't usually search you, like pat you down. They might pretend to pat you down. But if they find stuff in your bag, they will throw it away on you. If
Okay.
it's too much, if it's deemed too much, or if it's cans or shop, anything that can be shop.
Okay.
So right off the rip, you have a sense of prison, right?
Yeah.
And that's not good to try to like rebuild your life. When I learned that a lot of people were staying on the street, and then I found out that at the Prudential Center back then, they don't allow it now. This was a Menino policy. Menino said that homeless people could stay at the Peru, that he had a deal. So you could be inside, but you couldn't sleep. But you could stay in there overnight throughout the winter and stuff.
Well, like how you can't sleep, but
You sleep during the day somewhere else.
Oh, so that people were just awake inside the Prudential Center all night?
Yeah, right. Inside an area, in the backside area where there's a bunch of tables,
Yeah.
and that's where people would sit all night. And just, like, I would be working on my business plan and study for school. It was perfect for me.
So how would people check to see if people were sleeping? Was there like a guard or something?
The guards would walk around, and if you fell asleep, they'd kick you out.
Oh, all right.
And they were always watching the cameras.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of cruel? Like not letting a person sleep?
Oh yeah, it's wicked cool. But the deal was that you could stay there overnight as long as you don't sleep.
Okay.
That was the deal. Now the deal is you can't stay overnight at all. So like it was much better to have that deal than no deal.
All right.
So now once things got like I got into a routine. Being homeless and going to school wasn't really a bad thing. I skipped like 6 months, but
How come you skipped the 6 months?
because talking about school and stuff would be more interesting than the first 6 months. The first 6 months was just me like learning the ropes and trying to understand what I had to deal with as being homeless.
You were learning how to survive on the street.
Right,
How to
right,
okay.
right.
All right.
And I basically explained what that was.
Okay,
So,
I
like,
got you.
And the only thing I didn't explain was in that time I had one job. I worked at Boston Globe for like a month.
Okay.
And then they let me go.
All right.
Because I was hired through
Temp agency?
a temp agency, and they found out of my record, and then they let me go.
Okay. Well,
So,
so
like-
tell me more about, because school, this is fascinating. You use this,
Yeah.
you know, like being out in the street, but you used it to finish your education and
Right,
be
right.
successful. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
interested.
Oh, okay. So what I would do is my routine, even when I was in the shelter, is I wouldn't shower there.
Okay.
At 5 o'clock, as early as I could wake up, I was out the door.
Okay.
And then I would choose, and at 6 o'clock, if I could get over to the campus, BU campus, which, if you get, there's two buses, one that dropped here and one that dropped you off at an old shelter that they used to have
Okay.
over on Mass Ave. And if you got dropped off there, I could go around the corner and jump on the BU bus for free.
Okay.
So like, I didn't have to spend money. I could walk. Usually I walked.
Okay.
But I would go to the gym every morning. That's where I would shower, walk for an hour, and then go about my day. And that'd be from like 6 to 7.
And you were on like a scholarship at BU?
No, I was paying. I owed like $145,000.
Oh, you like okay.
Yeah, not just from them. I have a master's degree from Emerson.
Oh, okay.
So like the story kept going. It didn't stop. So,
Okay.
yeah. So like while I was at BU,
You want a drink? You like energy drinks?
no, I don't drink much. I did want a chai latte, but we
Chai
can get
latte.
that. Yeah,
At the end of this,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
get
we
you
get
one.
yeah, we get that up. The thing is, being homeless and studying was not a good fit. It was hard.
Okay.
It was hard to maintain. If I didn't have the school skills that I have, like the ability to read and critically think,
Yes.
I wouldn't have been able to do it because I was putting in not enough effort to succeed the best I could, but enough effort to still get a B. You know what I mean? To get a
Yeah.
So I think I graduated BU with a 3.3.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I still had a 3.32, I think 3.32.
What were the barriers you think like to getting the studying done and the papers and all the other things?
So some of the barriers are kind of interesting. So I used to go to a day shelter called Boston Warm, and it's wonderful people, but I had school money. They knew where I went to school. Some of them went to school there too. So I was never looked at as a client.
Oh, okay.
I was looked at someone with hopes and dreams and prospects. So they didn't give me the full help that I needed. I remember one time I needed an MBTA card
Yeah.
because I couldn't get back to Salem where I was staying for a week.
Okay.
And it was to finish something for school, I think finals or something.
Okay.
And my friend was letting me stay at her house so I could finish.
Yes.
But I had to come back to Boston for a second, but I didn't have a way back. So I was stopped at the shelter and asked, and they said, "Oh no, we don't have any." And then this guy that came in that was always drunk and like never did what he was supposed to do, sat down and she gave him something that was wrapped up. The minute she left, it's like, "Oh, what's your score?" And of course he told me it was a freaking MBTA card. So she had them. She just didn't give them to me because I was always looked at as having a prospect. hope.
Yeah, I mean, so like they just
Yeah.
focused on the people that
Because I went to a
didn't have it.
private school, so
right.
I'm like, yeah, it's still my dime paying for it.
Yeah.
Like I have huge debt because of it. You know, like. So like,
So you mentioned earlier about like the drug addiction and stuff like that. You said that that's understated.
yeah, it's understated in the sense that they try to downplay it when it's blatant. Like it's like trying to say like a wrecked car is not wrecked. You know what I mean? Like it's blatant. It's everywhere, and it's not just. When I say drugs, I mean a lot of alcoholism.
Okay.
I think that's in a way the biggest thing that I ran into was dealing with people that were experiencing alcoholism.
You thought the majority of people that were like
They had at least that, and then more. Like is what I'm saying.
yeah, and then using other substances on
Yeah.
top of being
Yeah.
like alcohol consumption every day.
Right. But there would be at least alcoholism around me all the time.
How
when I
do
was on
people
the
how do
street.
people get money to fund their
They
their
stand on the
use?
street and they beg. On the street we call it stemming.
Stemming? Why stemming? What does that mean?
I'm not even sure, but I'm assuming. I think it comes from like an old saying.
Okay.
To stem something. Like I think it comes. I forget. I think I looked it up and I. No, the saying. Like someone said the saying once, and I looked up a saying and I can't remember.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah.
Stemming.
Well, stemming and neurodivergency means something else, so you might get that one because that's fidgeting, which I've been doing over here for like the last whatever.
So I've been asking, like someone on the group actually asked like about like different people's diagnoses. Like for example, I'm an ADHD
Yeah.
diagnosis.
Right.
Would you want to share like any diagnoses or anything that you
So
have?
I'm well. So when they didn't have spectrum wasn't a thing, so no, I'm definitely on the spectrum, but they didn't have that when I was growing up. So like, I was never diagnosed with it.
Okay.
I probably have ADHD on top of it, but maybe not. I don't know. Like everything's undiagnosed.
Yeah.
I just know a lot about it because I've studied it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because originally I was going to be a psych major.
Okay.
And then I was like, nah, I don't want to do any more math, and then I went back to writing.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do psychology, not for research, and for writing the thrillers that I write. So like, that's the only reason why I was gonna take psychology. And it just wasn't worth the pain.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have an associate's in psychology, and I stopped there. I was like, oh, what am I?
Yeah, it just wasn't worth. It wasn't worth the pain. Like I really enjoyed reading and writing and doing that stuff. So I was like, I'll just stick with what I'm doing. But that's what I was going to do when I got out. I was going to change my degree.
Okay.
Because inside the degree was an interdisciplinary degree,
Yeah.
and when I got out, I changed it to an English degree.
Okay.
But I could have changed it to any degree
Okay.
because you're paying for it. They don't
Yeah.
care.
So I looked up the slang for stemming.
Yeah.
It just means begging. That's all it means.
Yeah. Oh, did you look on Urban?
Yeah, I just said
Yeah.
slang and it just said begging. So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
stemming means.
Yeah. So that's what we call it when people put up a sign. And
Okay.
so that's the most way people get money.
Okay.
The other way people get money is they have checks.
Oh, they get like Social Security checks.
Yeah,
and
they get
things?
some kind of monthly check.
What about like the sex trade? Because I've been told that that's like that's a big issue right now, like prostitution and.
I think that's only shown to people that it's shown to. 'Cause, like I've never seen it.
You didn't see it out
No,
there?
I
All
didn't
right.
see it. But I'm also not looking for it. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like you would hear about some chick, there was always someone that was trying to do something for money, but it was not like organized or,
Yeah.
if you know that, like it was just
Yeah.
someone trying to, get money for their whatever.
So like this is something that was brought to my attention, and I think it's more of like a recent thing, but I'm gonna be looking into it. Is that like it's like trans youth end up on the streets a lot because they get abandoned by their families. Somebody had mentioned that to me. I don't know much about it, but
Yeah, that's probably true. But as like in the city, it's hard to find youth because what happens is youth get picked up and get brought to. I think it's Bridge Under Troubled Waters. That's the shelter for them.
I know that organization.
Yeah. So like that's where they would be.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't see them on the street.
So they keep like the younger people are getting. They have like they go to a bridge over troubled waters.
Yeah, more or less. Like I've never really seen young people when I was on the street. Like
Okay.
Like one time at the Peru, there was a kid that was like 14 hanging out, but I think he was just hanging out because he was curious about all the homeless people. Like I don't think he was homeless. I think he was just like doing his own kind of research, about life, and he found it interesting to talk to these people.
Okay.
But the security ended up, basically kicking him out by calling the police.
Get them out of here. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, I guess like what I'd like to learn more about is like, it seems like you used like the opportunity to finish school, and you've done well. So, tell me more about like your transition with like finishing your education and getting in like your degree because you're into like books and writing.
Right.
Now I'm an avid reader. We've done time, so like we did a lot of reading.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
I meant to bring 2 books, but I forgot to bring them. So it actually started backwards in a way. So I started writing before I went to school.
Okay.
When I wrote my first manuscript, which was urban fiction,
Okay.
I was reading something like 300 books a month.
Okay.
Like it was some odd because it was urban fiction. They're very small.
Yeah, you were just burning through
I was reading
the hood books and
I was reading like friggin' 3 books a day. Like it was insane.
All right.
But my friend was buying them, so I was reading them. So he was getting them, but I was first in line. So I didn't get a wrecked book. I got a nice crisp book.
Okay.
So it makes reading easier. When it's a dead book, reading can be slow because you got to deal with falling pages or.
Yeah, and like that's an old thing nowadays because everything's social media.
Yeah. So, but don't let it kid you. If you ride around on a train, you'll see people reading. Lots of people reading.
Okay.
Young folks, old folks, and you'll see more books than you ever thought you would see. Like physical books. It's kind of a lot of it has to do with school, but a lot of it you'll see the like types of stuff people are reading, and you're like, that's not school. Like it'll be like science fiction or something. Like,
so you kind of gained this love of reading and love of books.
Yeah. So when I was locked up, I read 300 books a year, like cross spectrum.
Yeah.
Outside the books I was reading for, I just lumped them in because they were only like 50,000 words.
Yeah.
And they were like they weren't very in depth, so you could read them really fast. So, there was nothing to pay attention to. It was just pure escapism.
Yeah.
And it was relatable because they're talking about what I was doing. So like all the books talked about the shit I was doing, so I felt like I could be free for a little while I was reading. And then I was like, no one talks about this shit, so I'm gonna do that when I get out. And what happened was I read a book I didn't like.
Okay.
I threw it down and said, I could do better out loud to all my cellies.
Okay.
So, like 4 guys, 3 or 4 guys. So like, they were like, what'd you say? Nothing. I got down and I started writing. So I wrote the first book, and then I wrote 6, I think, while I was locked up. But then I was like, I should really sharpen my English skills because I wasn't very confident with punctuation and other things. So I started trying to read the English books on my own, but it wasn't working. You need direction, right?
Yeah.
So like, you can't just read it and take it in. It's not like a teacher's book with the answers and stuff for business telling you stuff. Like it's much different. You really have to be explained. So like why it works, why commas go here, or this, that. So I started studying for. So when I got to Norfolk, I had nothing, no GED, no nothing. But when I got to Concord, they make you take a tape test, which tells you your grade level.
Yeah.
So I skipped out from the 10th grade, which means my grade level should have been 9.
Yeah.
But it was 12-1 and 12. And then 6 for math.
Okay.
Reading and writing was...
So your reading comprehension had shot way up, but like your math was down low.
Yeah, because I'm not using it, right?
Yeah.
I was reading and stuff, so like my reading and writing was good, but my math skills were bad. And a lot of it had to do with what I was reading, and also had to do with how I was brought up too, right? So like, and before that though, I thought I was the stupidest motherfucker on the planet.
Okay, yeah.
And that gave me hope.
So now you had like confidence in yourself.
Oh,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got extreme confidence because the thing in the math that I got wrong was the most silliest thing. I had no idea what AB meant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was time. So like I forgot. Like just totally forgot. And my friend was like, "You forgot that? Really? I didn't think you would forget that." I'm like, I'm smart, but I don't remember things very well. Like I'm smart because I know how to look things up.
Yeah.
I know where to find the answer. While I was going through that, I had signed up right when I got there. Let's say I got there right before the turn of the year, so I'd missed everything. So I had to wait like 7 months or something. So I signed up the minute sign-ups were to go to GED. They called me in November, a month before the test. I'm like, why are they calling me so late? And then when I walked in, he goes, "You're going to take the test next month, right?" I'm like, why would I take the test next month? Because they look at your tape, they know, the teacher's been doing it for like 30 years. He had since retired. But this guy could teach. He knew the answers because he did the same paperwork for 30 years.
Yeah.
So there was no question you couldn't ask him that he didn't already know. Like he'd answer it before you even asked. Like you'd bring you the paper and you'd see your paper and go, "Yeah, it's this, that."
And that was your introduction to college while you were in prison?
No, that was my introduction to GED.
Just getting your GED, all right.
But it was my introduction to like believing in myself.
Okay.
Because like, he goes, "I've seen your work. I know you'll pass the test." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Because I had taken it before. I had taken GED before, years and years ago, and I was not doing good in the class.
So you learned that you could learn and you could grow and you could develop.
I didn't have to stay in one spot.
So, because we got like maybe like 10 minutes left, just about. So it seems that like, all right, so you started getting educated. You took the college program once you got the GED.
Yeah.
And then you did the college out here, and you were like doing what you had to do. You were living almost. So what about like, what are you doing now? Like what, like, so what like,
so in 2014, even though I was homeless, I started a company called Norfolk Publishing Group.
Okay.
Yes, it's named after the prison, and my call form is the ring that used to be an old gong in the prison.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it's my ode because that's where I started.
Yeah.
So like I also did it because if books ever find their way into Norfolk, people will know where it came from.
Yeah.
They'll know what that means. If they see the ring and the name, they'll be like, wait a minute. And most of the works that we publish anyway are they're prison lit. So like they're thrillers, but most of the characters, like the books that are out right now, the main characters are ex-felons.
Okay.
Or current felons, like depending on how you look at it. Like one's a time travel, but his whole life was manipulated.
Okay.
Time travel. We could do those things. So like, and that's a series. And then there's another one where it's like it's called Redemption Road, and he just wants to change. And on his way, on the day he's released, on the way back, a train explodes, and he goes. The commuter rail explodes right outside of Back Bay Station. And a kid who sat at his table, he saved his life. Now the kid's, he's in shock. So he doesn't want to leave the guy because that's going to be the only person he's going to trust for the indeterminate future, right?
Okay.
So he convinces the hero to take him across town to his dad's office, and the bombs seem to follow.
Okay.
So like, and it's a big thing about like what's really going on, but it's a thriller.
Okay.
And the tagline for that is nobody counted on the felon.
Okay.
And it's a double entender because nobody counts on the felon.
All right.
Like, just in normal society, everyone counts us out, counts us as down. They don't count us as being, coming back.
Yeah.
And there's tons of us that came back. I'm also the co-founder of FICGIN, one of 14 co-founders.
You're a co-founder of FI, so that's formerly incarcerated college graduates. I'm part of that group.
Yes, I know.
I love that. I love that group.
Yeah. So, Chris had reached out to me to join the group, and then put out a call back in 2016, and he got my name because I helped start AHAB, the Association for Higher Education in Prison.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on a strategic planning committee for that. So I did some activism, but that's about the extent of my activism.
Well, let's real quick, because I know the statistics, right?
Yeah.
Now, I can't, it's some ridiculous statistic of like, when you when people have committed crimes, 95% of them are coming home.
Yep.
When they are able to achieve some form of education in prison, the chance of them
recidivism drops to like next to nothing.
Next to nothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does drop next to nothing, but it is not equal across the board.
Okay.
I feel like the more people look at you and feel like you squandered your opportunities, the less help you get to be successful. Like, and it happens a lot. Like people just assume, your life story. He sees a dog. People just assume your story, you know what I mean? So you probably have less time now. So what else? Anything else?
So your story is an amazing story, and I love to see this is a success story.
Yeah.
You're an impressive person. You've taken your struggles and you've turned them into opportunity. So I just want to commend you on that.
Yeah.
And I also would say at this point, give a shout out for anybody that has helped you, or someone that you want, anyone you can think of that you want to that was instrumental in getting you to where you are now. Give a shout out for your business and the books and all the other stuff.
It would be hard to shout out people because the people that helped me the most are homeless, and I won't say their names.
Okay.
So there's certain rules that I really wanted to tell you about.
Well, go ahead, share them now. We got time.
Okay, so at least in Boston, right?
Yeah.
That's all I can speak for. There's no photos. Okay. People don't like photos or videos or anything.
Okay.
Because we don't know what their story is, right? So we don't know if it's legal or just family, or they just don't want to be found. There's 100 reasons why people don't want to be known. Maybe they just don't want their family to see them looking like that.
Yeah.
Being in that situation. So so there's people are really off-putting with reporters and people that try to do good work.
Yeah. So I might not be well received by some.
By some, but the fact that you're willing to stay out with them, that will go huge.
All right.
That's the breaker. That's the icebreaker.
All right.
If you're honest with people, don't try to hide it.
Yeah.
That's what they really get mad. I think there was a reporter out before I came out, and I think he stayed out for 12 days, some arbitrary little number, 30 days or something. And then wrote an article, and people were like, "Oh, what a jerk!"
Yeah.
because he was like really shedding the like all the negative stuff, nothing good, nothing positive. I'm like, and they were like, and like other homeless people were like, Chris, he met you. I don't understand why he never mentioned you. Like, I'm like, why me? Like, because just because I went to school, people were like, and I wasn't the only one. There was like 7 or 8 of us that went to school.
Okay.
Various schools around the city.
What else? What other rules can you think of?
Don't ask questions.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one for me. I love asking questions.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of questions.
But that's the thing is, those are the 2 things that it can be tough, but it's not impossible to get around them.
Okay.
Just have to be open and forthcoming.
Just be honest. All right.
Yeah.
Honesty is the best policy in my book.
It definitely is on the street too.
All right.
And it's weird because you're going to find a lot of honest people, more than you expect, but there are dishonest people too.
All right.
Like you'll find dishonest people that are very honest, which is kind of a hoot.
Yeah, they use dishonesty and honesty to whatever their benefit is, really.
Right. Well, they'll be honest to you, but they'll be deceiving to someone else that could give them money.
Yeah.
Like you'll see that a lot with people that beg.
Yeah.
Like they'll come up, like get money, and they'll be like, oh, you didn't eat here. And they'll give you money, but they'll tell these people that they don't have any money. Like,
yeah.
Like, but you'll see generosity that you'll never see anywhere.
All right.
Like,
well, I'm gonna need it.
Yeah. There's definitely like upsides that people could like dwell on to show the humanity.
Yeah, so like that's a big part of what I'm doing. I want to show like the humanity of it,
Now, I am not fond or agree with encampments.
Yeah.
Because encampments breed entitlement. Oh, that's one thing that you will see a lot. I think it's kind of a mental disorder in a way. People become super entitled.
Oh, when they're homeless, they feel like everybody owes them something?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Like that they should have things for free, like because they're homeless. And also, there's things that I would see that was frustrating because everybody wants to give a homeless person food, and nowhere in the name does it say foodless.
Yeah.
They're homeless.
Yeah, they got the food, right?
Yeah, they have. Most of them have plenty of food.
All right.
But they ask for food only because people think that's what they want.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. No, they need a home. That's what they need. They need someone to give them a chance. And a lot of people. So I was part of a different set of homeless.
Yeah.
I was invisible.
Yeah.
Because I showered every day. I changed my clothes every day.
Yeah.
I look more homeless now than I did when I was homeless.
All right.
Because now if I need to run out the house, I won't wash my hair if I don't have time.
Yeah.
But when I was homeless, I made sure I showered every day because I had to look not homeless.
Because you had to get by to like get your education
Right.
and things and do the things. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, not just that. I felt like I wanted to be invisible to like authorities and everybody else too.
Do you feel like will the authorities ever bother the homeless people?
They definitely bother the homeless people.
Okay.
But some homeless people start it and then they overly do it.
Yeah. Okay.
They respond too harshly sometimes.
Okay.
Like, and it usually is around drunkenness or like people getting like high out of their skull and can't function.
Yeah.
And it usually stems around the library.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be intoxicated in public.
Yeah,
And
and it usually happens in the library or around the library.
okay.
The coffee.
So I'm gonna give you this time to like any advice that you got for anybody out there. Give a shout out to your company and like some of like the books and things of that.
So my company is called Norfolk Publishing Group. The URL is npgbooks.com. 2 titles is Deja Vu, The Domino Effect. Book 2 of that series comes out soon. And that's by John Gates. And another book, which is a thriller, it's a crime thriller. and that's by John A. Galeotto. His book is called Redemption Road.
Okay.
Those are the two books that are out, novels that are out. There's like a short story collection. Oh wait, and one more, The Bricks by John A. Galeotto too is also out, which is an urban fiction.
Okay.
But it's a series that went dead, so you're only gonna get that one book.
Alright.
It says it's a series, but it's probably gonna be just that one book. And that's about it for there. As far as advice, hope is never hopeless. That's my advice. Hope is never hopeless.
Okay.
It's internal. So if you lose hope, you lost yourself. So you need to find yourself.
Okay.
So my advice would be that you could always get out of your own way. You just have to get out of your own way. Like, for me, getting out of, I'll give an a quick example, is for me to get out of my own way, I had to accept help.
Yes.
I wouldn't accept help before. I would do everything myself, and only myself, because I did it better than anyone else. Even if this is true, you can't get to where you need to go by yourself.
So you had to humble yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually have one quick question I brought to mind. Is,
Yeah.
do you still like stay connected with family and stuff? Do you have people that you're still connected to there? Or?
Oh yeah. So as you know, like right now I've been down the Cape. So I'm actually before the Cape right now. Is that my mom lives in a town about 35 miles from here, 40 miles from here. And she lives with my older brother, and back in March, his complications, diabetes, everything else, something happened and he kept falling. And so I had to be around more, and it was costing too much for me to keep going, so I opened an office down there.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, and then also, I also opened another thing called Write Space, which is a co-working space for writers. In that way, it pays for itself.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, you are very creative, man.
Yeah, so like, so I'm not there all the time. So like, 'cause my office technically is here. It's at the Peru, actually.
Okay. All right.
It's a co-working space.
Yeah.
But it's a great address, and it's worth the money to have that address on your books.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because it's prestigious. People
And it's
see it.
ironic too.
Yeah, it's very ironic. Yes. Matter of fact, when I took it, I was actually staying downstairs. When I rented the first space, because right now I'm virtual. Right now, with that space, because I'm down on the South Shore a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll either come here or the other Yahoo near Prudential. Like, there's plenty of places to work in the city for free, so I don't need the office. So like, and for the duration of the pandemic, I was actually nomading. So like, I was in a car, wherever, nomading, just living in the car, going to Planet Fitness in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah, and walking for an hour and then taking a shower and then doing it again. Like, and then for like 2 years, I worked out of like, or a year and a half, I think it was. I worked out of a Starbucks for 8 hours every day.
Okay.
But no, there's plenty of like friends of mine go, oh, I'd like to start a business, but you need money. I'm like, did you see me spend any money? Like save $1 million? I didn't save $1 million. Should I have? Probably. Because a lot of headache. I went through a lot of headache.
Yeah.
Because I did it with 50. I tried to make $1 out of 50 cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, definitely, I don't advise that. That's for sure. Come with a better plan than mine. But anyone can rise up. They really can. They can get out. They just have to get out of their way and accept help.
There's always hope, like you said.
Yeah, there's always hope.
All right. Well, I want to shake your hand. I appreciate you giving me time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to end this.
Sure.
I appreciate you so much, Chris.